Kiersten from the Marketing Committee, and I'm here today with a couple of members from the Recruitment and Engagement Committee. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Jennye Scott. I'm a Vice President of Global Creative Services at Berry Global, and I've been with the Women Flexo Group for over 3 years now.
And hi, my name is Kiersten, and I'm with Access Global. I do inside sales for the North America Plates division, and I've been with Women Flexo for about 6 months.
So the Recruitment Committee underwent some changes recently. Can you tell us what your committee is all about?
Yes, we did. Since the inception of the Women Flexo, we knew we wanted to be active in recruiting women to our group. So over the past 6 months or so, we decided to include engagement into our committee name. We knew that if we could engage more women, then maybe they would join our group. So that's what we're doing now. We're developing what we call Lunch and Learn, and it's a half-an-hour webinar that we have one time a month on the second Wednesday of each month. We send a survey to the Women of Flexo and asked what topics they were interested in hearing, and they answered. So we just had a great webinar by Alyssa Denny, where she discussed how leadership is a characteristic and not a credential, and she did an amazing job. Stay tuned to review this again on our website once it gets posted. In December, we're very fortunate to have an FTA board member, Dan Blackburn from Kimberly-Clark, and he will be discussing sponsoring women to success. And January is lining up to include an HR representative talking about flexible hybrid work arrangements and or work-life imbalance. So stay tuned for that.
That's great. I think adding the engagement aspect is perfect for your team. And Alyssa's webinar was so good. I'm really excited to see more of those. So, Kiersten, you've been with Women of Flexo for 6 months, you said. What initially drew you to the organization?
So I've graduated and I've been working in the industry now for 4 years, and I was looking for ways to get more involved, especially with FTA. So I started researching and looking into the committees. I was drawn to Women of Flexo because I felt like I would have a place within the group right away, and that I was capable of contributing and being younger and a new name to the flexographic community. I also thought it would be a great opportunity to meet women in the industry that I could learn from, and hopefully I have the opportunity to be that person for someone else too. And so the timing worked out perfect. Just as I was figuring out how to get involved in the group, Carolyn, who is also on our committee, she's a friend, former colleague, and manager of mine, she reached out and recruited me. So I jumped on the opportunity, and I felt like recruitment would be perfect to make connections, stay consistently involved, and figured that I could relate to new members, being one myself.
I love that. Jennye, how about you?
Well, it's interesting when you get involved with the FTA, they ask you to do one thing, and then they come back and ask you to do another thing, and then they come back and ask you to do another thing. Next thing you know, you're cheering the whole forum, which is kind of crazy. But I love it. I love being involved with the people. The people in the FTA are just amazing. But when I heard we were starting this Women of Flexo group, I was very excited about it as well too, because yet again another committee I could join through the FTA, which is great. But it's interesting because I'm definitely a supporter of women in the industry, but especially women in business as well. And it's definitely helped me to be a better manager as well within my own group. To help empower the people that work for me as well too. So, but great women. It's interesting that even though we all work for different companies, it's like we're all a bunch of friends, which is awesome. So we definitely all get along well together, empower each other, and help through different trials and tribulations, and keep moving forward. So it's a great group.
That's so true. Kiersten, how would you say that being a part of this committee has helped you with your professional career?
I'm still kind of new, so I'm still starting out, but so far it's given me the opportunity to meet new people within the industry and within the group, and making connections is so important because you never know what those could lead to. And I would just like to keep finding ways to get involved and someday take on leadership opportunities, and hopefully that will, benefit my career.
Yes, definitely. So do you guys get to work a lot with the other Women of Flexo committees?
Oh, yes, all the time. All the committees overlap in one way or another, which is interesting. We have monthly calls to discuss what we're working on, and sometimes we collaborate together on a topic. Plus, we try to meet in person, like during the forum or the fall conference, to network and to share stories and experiences. And sometimes a happy hour.
Yes, the happy hours are always so much fun. And one of my favorite parts about being involved with this organization, like you guys said, is getting to meet and work with so many amazing women that are in this industry that I probably would not have gotten to meet otherwise. Okay, if you could give any advice to the women listening right now, what would it be?
So my advice, especially to those new to the industry or the Women of Flexo community, is to reach out to fellow members of the group, whether it's to connect or say hello, ask questions. This is the perfect place to make those professional connections or build personal friendships even. My involvement in the group has pushed me to reach out to women at events even outside of our immediate industry. Because as a part of the recruitment team, I am looking for speakers for our lunch and learns. But I'm finding that as I introduce myself to fellow career women or people in the industry, they are pretty receptive and more than happy to speak with me. We all have experiences or challenges that we can relate to, and it's empowering to share stories with one another. So with that, I'll come full circle and reiterate my point. Reach out, say hi, and take advantage of making connections or those friendships with your fellow women professionals in or close to your industry.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to Kiersten's comments. Even though we work for different companies, as I mentioned before, being on Women Flexo, we could be working with our competitors, but it doesn't feel that way at all. All of our committees and members are always looking for ways to uplift each other. And as Kiersten mentions, we continue to look in the industry for more women to join our group, share their experiences, and support each other however they can.
So FTA just hosted their fall conference recently, and both of you guys were present. Can you talk about your experience meeting all of the women at the conference and how that went?
Sure. We did end up having a nice area to have breakfast in, which was great. So we could network while we had breakfast one morning. And it was interesting. I had to meet a couple of new people. One lady was her first time coming, which was awesome. So we got to kind of meet her and kind of talk to her a little bit as well too, make her feel comfortable and stuff as well. Because obviously coming to a conference for the first time is a little overwhelming, especially when it's the FTA. It's like you're walking into someone's family, right? And your comment about meeting with all the women is kind of funny because there was probably only about 50 to 75 women there max. So it was not a lot of women, but it was nice to see the women there and nice to have a place to collaborate, especially in the morning and stuff too, to get our day kicked off.
Yeah, it was my first FTA conference. And so I really only knew a handful of people. And so I decided to just walk up to members in Women of Flexo and introduce myself. Every woman I spoke to was more than happy to meet and have conversations. And with the networking breakfast, it made it even easier to mingle and meet members. So this group has been really welcoming, and I think it's comforting to know that you have a community within the industry.
I love that. I didn't get to go to the fall conference this year, and I'm so jealous. From all the pictures and stuff that I've seen, it looked like everybody had a great time. And you guys said that there really weren't that many women there, but it really is comforting to, be able to see all of the women that are in the industry and be able to, like you just said, Kiersten, be comfortable enough to go up to them and talk with them and chat and network. And I really love that this organization has created that opportunity for us. Well, thank you guys so much for meeting with me. It was so great to get to know the Recruitment and Engagement Committee a little bit more. And if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out, like Jennye and Kiersten have both said, please do reach out to us through our LinkedIn. You can email us through our website, womenofflexo.org. We would love to hear from you and love for you to get involved. Thank you guys so much.